Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with OddsJam. We got a pretty cool Sunday night football game tonight that is a win and in for the Packers and could be a win and in for the Lions if the Seahawks lose today. So pretty decent game we have going on. So let's find some best bets to lock in for Sunday night football. So I'm going to be using the OddsJam positive EV page as well as the OddsJam screen to find my favorite bets for tonight's game. Starting with the EV page, there's a couple plays that I like. Some of them I've already locked in, as you can tell by the check mark here. So we can just get started right off the bat. Number one, DeAndre Swift under 34.5 rushing yards. So the bet is at plus 102 odds at Caesars. I know that this is the play because you see how this text is bolded, how there is the blue rectangle around it. This is a sign saying, bet me, bet me. That's how you know this is the positive EV play. Now, what does positive EV, positive expected value, mean? It just means that basically there is some sort of edge that we have over the sportsbook with this individual bet. And the edge that we have is all based on these no vig odds, this column that you see here. So looking at the screenshot, we see odds range from plus 102 to minus 115 to minus 110, all the way up to minus 134. Pretty wide range of odds here. Well, just based on that gap alone, one of these sportsbooks has to be right, one of them has to be wrong. It simply doesn't make sense for odds to have like a 36 cent difference from minus 134 to plus 102 and have them both be correct, right? That just doesn't make any logical sense. One of them has to be incorrect. And with sports betting, some sportsbooks are better than others at pricing odds consistently. I don't mean like yesterday or for one specific opportunity. I mean historically over the course of time. So what OddsJam did was backtest thousands and thousands of betting opportunities across all different markets, player props, NFL, NBA, NHL, all of these different markets to determine what sportsbooks, are historically the sharpest. And then they removed the VIG from those X amount of sportsbooks. Let's pretend there were 5. They removed the VIG using a weighted average, giving heavier weight towards the sharper ones, and spits out these no VIG odds that you see here. This is why the OddsJam positive EV tool is so powerful, because if you think about it just from like a holistic view, basically these X amount of sportsbooks are the best at pricing odds. Historically, over the course of time, the best. So we're going to use them to set the market moving forward and then spit out betting opportunities where you're getting more favorable odds. And more favorable just means higher payout for the sports bettor than what these no vig odds calculated at. So for this one specifically, this bet should be priced at minus 104, essentially, which gives it a win percentage of over 51%. All odds have a win percentage associated with them. If you click this calculator button right here, it pulls up a bunch of information, but specifically this win percentage is pulled from the no vig odds. Well, plus 102 means that we don't have to even win 50% of the time and we can be profitable. That's what the plus money means, right? So right off the bat, that's a good play. And then what you want to do is compare the other markets. So again, plus 102 odds means that you don't even have to win 50% of the time to be profitable. Well, look at where the other sportsbooks price it. Minus 110, minus 115, minus 114, minus 134. Pinnacle is the sharpest sportsbook in the world. They heavily favor it going under, which we're getting at plus 102. BetOnline, another sharp sportsbook, has it at 50-50, which even if it is a 50-50 proposition, we're still making money off that. DraftKings also favors it going under. DraftKings favors it going under. Granted, not as much as Pinnacle does, still favors it going under, which we are getting at plus 102. That is a really good sign. So for a player prop, I put 3/4 of a unit on this one on Caesars. I have to relog into my account, but I did go ahead and already lock this one in for $75, as you can see right here. DeAndre Swift under 34.5 receiving yards, $75. Next up, the play that I also already locked in. This one is on Circa Sportsbook, so it's not as widely available, so I'll just go through this one quickly. First quarter, total points over 9.5, minus 113 odds at Circa. I got it at minus 110 odds, as you can see right here. It's still positive EV at minus 113, so this is still a good bet to place. OddsJam calculates the no vig odds to be at about minus 119. We are getting minus 113. Look across the board. We see odds range from minus 120, Bookmaker, another very sharp sportsbook, to minus 127 on Pinnacle, which is a good sign, all the way up to minus 135 and minus 140. Really good sign here. And then my last play, specifically for the EV plays, is Christian Watson over 50.5 receiving yards. This is at minus 115 at BetMGM. No vig odds, price this at about minus 118. Let's look at the markets. Now you can ignore Prize Picks because they are a daily fantasy sports company. They have the same implied odds for every single play. But we see minus 147, minus 130, minus 148. We're getting it at minus 115. So that's 3 plays from the positive EV page. Next up, looking at the OddsJam screen, there is a play that I like both quarterbacks essentially to go over their passing yardage prop. So I actually already locked in Jared Goff at 240.5, as you can see here. It's still a good price at 243.5. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm actually going to parlay both of these quarterbacks to go over their passing yardage props, specifically on FanDuel, because FanDuel has these remarkably mispriced compared to the rest of the sports books, right? So let me go ahead and lock this in, and then I'll explain it. So I'm just going to put a half unit on them both to go over. Guess I need to log back into my FanDuel account. Let me go ahead and do this real quickly. So let's chat about it. So let's start with Aaron Rodgers, right? FanDuel prices it at 251.5. And the way the OddsJam screen works, you just pick a market and it pulls up where every single sportsbook is pricing that market, their main line for that market. So no alternate lines, the main line. Now, almost every other sportsbook except for WynnBET prices Aaron Rodgers above 251.5. So if we're thinking about this logically, literally every other sportsbook, I guess PointsBet has it at 250 as well, says he should be priced at 254, 257, 252, 257. And Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, has it 6 yards higher at 257. So that's a really good sign. It's the same thing with Jared Goff. We're getting it at 243.5. PointsBet has it at 240.5. Every other sportsbook has it higher, all the way up from 248 to 251 to Pinnacle also having it at 251, 8 yards higher than what FanDuel is giving us. So both of these sportsbooks have their lines completely mispriced when you compare to the rest of the sportsbooks. So this is a good parlay for plus 237 odds. I'm just going to go ahead and put a half unit on this one, $50 to win a little over basically 119. So that's going to be my parlay that I found using the OddsJam screen and round out my picks for this Sunday night football game tonight. So if you're tailing any of these, comment and let me know. But that's it. So appreciate everybody watching and have a good one.